This is RJ. Welcome to another Path of Exile video on Talkative Triceratops. I'm here with the Day 2 recap of Archnemesis League. Finally, we are out of the axe after a little bit of a slow start on our Lightning Trap / Lightning Spire Trap Saboteur. And we are in the end game, where finally, after no lore was dropped from Archnemesis League itself, no new lore was introduced, we have some new story, some new narrative here at the beginning of the endgame. So, the main points first. When we start the endgame, 1 year has passed since Kitava was killed by us. We come to the Karui shores. It seems like we wake up inside of a house, and we are greeted by Helena, the individual who was formerly a Black Guard serving under Piety and High Templar Dominus. She greets us, explains that it's been a year since Kitava fell, and a man named Kirak, Commander Kirak, has started a militia called the Citizens Vanguard, and she's a part of it. This militia was created to ensure that corruption, gods, and eldritch horrors, interesting, this is the first we're hearing of this as player characters, can never threaten Rayclast again. We're able to talk to her quite a bit, ask her a little bit about the Citizens Vanguard, about Commander Kirak, about the Karui shores where we are now, and about Siris, though everything is very mysterious. She talks a little bit about Siris, says that Oriath had been evacuated, and someone, somehow, with Commander Kirak, was able to stop him as he was destroying Oriath. Nothing else on top of that. She tells us we can go and speak with Commander Kirak through a tunnel, and we're able to explore this vast new area that is the Karui Shores. It has an entirely different aesthetic to the old Karui Shores, and I'd also like to note, in my last video I talked about Einhar getting the special PoE 2 dialogue box. Well, that appears to be present with all the masters, as I quickly learned as I was moving through the axe. I just wanted to append that little mention right there. Anyway, we start moving through the Karui shores, which are vastly different to what they were in the previous patches, and we actually are able to speak to Lily Roth, who has some new dialogue as well. She's working with the Citizens Vanguard. She's been pardoned, and now she's helping them move across the seas, transport people, transport belongings, and she's being completely forgiven for all of her pirating crimes, which is cool. The new dialogue she has, interesting, but nothing too relevant to the current story at hand. It's great that she has new dialogue, though, because it's just her, Helena, and then Commander Kirak that seem to have new dialogue thus far. And remember, I just started the actual endgame, just started map. So after we talk to Helena, we talk to Lily, we head to Commander Kirak, who is the new Zana, really. He seems to be the primary point of contact for the Atlas, and this new introduction to the Atlas is far superior to what it was before. He gives a full explanation of what's going on here, what the Atlas is, what's happened in the past pretty much. He doesn't mention Zana at all, the Elder, the Shaper, but he does briefly mention Sirris. He explains what the Atlas is. It's basically another plane of existence, a vast plane of existence, and we're able to access it via the map device. This beforehand, when we were moving to the Templar Laboratory, into those old chambers, it was a little foggy, a little confusing. This is a lot more straightforward. We go from Helena, we can optionally talk to Lily, and then we go to Commander Kirak, and he instantly says, hey, here are these 3 map devices we've recovered. Here's what they do. Here's how dangerous they are. Take this map, go. Explore the maps, explore the Atlas. Much better introduction to the endgame, in my opinion. Far less clunky. So that's what we do. We go into the Atlas, we explore a map, we go back to Kirak, and he explains that, hey, they are coming. And, I'm not going to explain who they are, but they're dangerous. And this mysterious entity who's told me about well, he's to be trusted, but if he's scared of these things, well, then all of Rayclast, all of humankind should be. So, interesting stuff there. Obviously, we know that he's talking about the Searing Exarch and the Eater of Worlds, as well as their lieutenants, the Black Star and the Infinite Hunger, but I have not been introduced to them yet. As I progress during the rest of day 2 and into day 3, I think I will run into at least the Infinite Hunger or the Black Star. Probably won't hit the Searing Exarch or the Eater of Worlds. I'm just not that quick, as you guys can see, although I will be playing more on Sunday as opposed to Friday and Saturday, where unfortunately I had some other plans, other obligations that I had to attend to. So that's it. That's all for the story. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I think there's going to be a lot of new lore here. There's a lot of setup, obviously. I love that Lily and Helena actually got some new lore, because previously it was really just Kirak and Zana who had updated dialogue about the Atlas and about the endgame. So being able to get a glimpse into these other characters and their views on what's occurring 1 year after Kitava is dead is quite interesting. There is one aspect that, hasn't been confirmed, isn't clear at all, that I'd like to speak on before we move a little bit into the gameplay for just maybe 30-40 seconds. And that's the fact that we were missing for a year. When Cirrus destroyed Oriath, we were gone. Where were we? We don't know. As far as I'm aware, it wasn't mentioned by Kirak, Helena, or Lily. So I'm curious. They also do mention that the Karuri gods have been killed, obviously, like Tukahama, Kitava. They're gone, killed. We slaughtered them. Kirak mentions that his gods, the gods of Oriath, have departed. And obviously he's mentioning sin and innocence. And we know innocence, goes south. Sin, we never really get any word on. But Kirak, he says, oh, they've departed, they're gone. We know innocence is going south to the ice, the infinite icelands. Where's sin? We don't know. And where were we? We also don't know. Now, we might become illuminated of that in these next few sections of the story. I'm not sure, though. I think they're just going to skip on past it. Perhaps we were cleansing the land. That's my guess, but we'll find out. Maybe. I really hope we do. It's obvious to me now that before Path of Exile 2 comes out, which takes place 20 years in the future, it means that we're going to have another endgame expansion before that happens, because the endgames are shared between Path of Exile 1's campaign and Path of Exile's 2 campaign. So that means that the endgame is going to take place at least 20 years after PoE 2's campaign's conclusion. So right now this is a temporary endgame, seeing as though we're 1 year. The date has been placed 1 year after the fall of Kitava. So yeah, that's it. So summarized, Helena has new dialogue, Lily has new dialogue, Commander Kirak has new dialogue, and they all are a part of the Citizens Vanguard, which is this militia that's traveling into the Atlas and trying to stop this mysterious they from coming and destroying all of Rayclast. We're going to assist in that. I will keep everyone here absolutely up to date on all the new lore, and if there is anything that hops in from Archnemesis League, well, that'll be awesome. I don't expect that to happen, though, as I unlock more and more recipes. We'll have to see. I am enjoying my Lightning Trap Saboteur. Have a few upgrades, quite a few upgrades. You can probably see in the footage that I was foregoing my elemental resistances and just speeding through to the end game, not crafting onto my gear, not picking up many objects off the ground. That's why I'm dying quite a bit. That's all. Nothing's wrong with the build. I just need to upgrade my gear and perhaps play a little smarter. I was banging my head against the wall a few times, especially with Kitava and a certain Archnemesis rare that had been upgraded 4 times, I believe, and it was absolutely ridiculous. I died more against that rare than all of the bosses in the Axe combined. So that was fun. I am enjoying that mechanic, by the way. I do like the build your own boss, build your own monster sort of thing, and I really do hope that they implement all of these modifiers, which are more interesting. They're easier to see as well. I do hope that they implement them into the core game after Archnemesis League ends. So with that, I am going to be moving through the labs, because I also I didn't do the labs either, so I have 2 labs to do, and then I'm moving through maps, moving into the end game. There will be another update video on day 3. I don't know how many update videos I'm going to do, maybe the first 7 days of the league, or until I conclude the actual story. because after that I'm going to write some scripted videos about the Searing Exarch, about the Eater of Worlds, about Commander Kirak, and where the story can go from here, where the Path of Exile 2 story is going to end up, and merge with the PoE 1 story in the endgame. It's all going to be very interesting. So, yeah, that's about it. Nothing else to say, really. This is RJ. Thanks for watching another Path of Exile video on talkative Triceratops. Farewell. You're still here. Interesting. I must say, it appears that the Archnemesis statue may have some basis in the lore of Path of Exile. I swear, in one of the temples, Solaris, I believe I saw the Archnemesis statue, and it wasn't connected to the League mechanic. I swear, I had more recipes available in the area, and I couldn't use this statue, and I hadn't used it before. I think maybe, just maybe, Archnemesis League somehow connects to the Gemlings. Gonna have to do more research on that.